Hi and welcome to Liz Bolter Wisdom. I've set myself a bit of a challenge this week to make one video every day. And I just want to kind of get out of my comfort zone a bit about talking about the work that I do. So I've set myself this challenge to make a video every single day talking about different aspects of the work that I do. So here goes. This is the first one of 7. So this video is going to be about the soul readings that I do. And as a lot of you know, that that is something that is part of the work that I do. I do my soul readings. I do hypnotherapy. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist as well. And I also do hands-on healing work. And I'm a mentor, a spiritual and a life coach slash mentor. And I do that online and I do that face-to-face. So soul readings. What is a soul reading, and why should you get one? What's it gonna do for you? How is it gonna help you? So I began doing email soul readings when the whole COVID situation kicked off here in the UK, and we were told that we couldn't work face to face unless we were in certain services. So I had to think on my feet because I was doing face to face hypnotherapy, I was doing hands-on healing, and I was doing face-to-face readings and supporting people with their spiritual development and soul development. So I had to take a leap of faith. Took a lot of trust in myself, but I had to do it, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have done that. So I decided that I would offer soul readings through emails. I wasn't very good at the time at doing Zoom and all those kind of things. A little bit of a technophobe, so I'm learning again. It's comfort zone that I'm stretching myself out of. So I thought, okay, email. I can do email. I can type a Word document. So I decided that I could do that. I've always known that I could tune into people remotely. That's something I've always known that I can do. So it was placing trust in that gift, in that ability that I have, an ability that I believe that we all have. And so I began doing email soul readings. And what I found was that I didn't have to know the person, didn't have to have ever met them. I didn't have to have any contact with them. I didn't need to know what they looked like, what they sounded like. I didn't need to know anything about them. In fact, it was sometimes easier if I knew nothing. And so I began to put myself out there as an email soul reader, and began doing these readings and got amazing feedback. So I continued with those and still continuing with them now. And as I say, I feel really grateful for the fact that I was able to step into that and use my abilities to support people, and that I can still do that now. So what is a soul reading? There's many people that do soul readings, and different people may describe it differently. So I'm going to obviously just explain it to you in the way that it comes to me, the way it resonates with me. For me, a soul reading is offering you the opportunity to have a conversation with your own soul. It's an opportunity for you to hear loud and clear what your soul is wanting you to know right now to support you in the here and now, on your journey in this life, here and now. And so what I see that happens when I tune into somebody remotely, it's like shining a light. It's shining a light on your soul, and your soul supports that. So your soul is also shining a light, and it's shining a light on what I call stories of consciousness, and that will be another video that I will make this week. I'm going to commit to that. I will make that this week. So in a soul reading, I am able to be, my role is an interpreter. I am a translator sometimes. Sometimes energies, different consciousnesses, different people from your life will come through, and they may not speak my native language of English. And so what I am able to do is I am able to translate what they're saying energetically, and then translate it back into my language of English, and then put that over to you in a document. So your soul, with my support and with me creating a safe container, is able to speak to you and to highlight various stories, what I call stories of consciousness, that have traveled with you into this lifetime, into what we call the here and now. And that those stories of consciousness can be past lives, other lives, possible future lives, or lives between lives, and also ancestors. I have a gift, I'm blessed with that gift, to be able to communicate with my own ancestors and with your ancestors. Again, I believe it's a gift that we all have, and I believe it's a gift that can be nurtured. And that's something that I also do in my work with people, either online or one-to-one. So I'm able to bring through those energies, bring through those stories. Your spirit guides may come through and offer wisdom. Your ancestors may come through with their stories, with stories that that they lived and that are still with you now, that are rising in you in your lifetime, and past lives that are resonating in you right now. I always, in a soul reading, I always ask, how can this help this person right now in what we call the here and now? Because I think it's important to harness what comes through into what we call this reality, this lifetime that we're living. And in that way, it can offer support. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to know our ancestors' stories. There's something really heartwarming. Gives us a sense of home, a sense of self. By knowing our ancestors' stories, by knowing our past life and other life stories. But for me, what's even more important than knowing them is asking how they can support you right now in your life. So there are often mirrors, reflections of your ancestors' stories and your other life stories that are rising in you right now. And it will be those stories that your soul, within this safe container of the soul reading, will choose to highlight, will choose to shine that light on. And so within the soul reading, the stories will come through. And often just hearing those stories will offer healing, and will offer the person an ability to put their own story in context, by hearing what's gone before. We all bring through stories from our ancestors. We see it in our hair colour, our eye colour, our stature, and behaviours and responses. And it's so important to know that those stories can rise in us and highly influence what we are experiencing, what our perception is right now. And that may not be always serving us. That may not always be serving us. And so through a soul reading, you will be able to have a fresh perspective on anything that you are experiencing in your life right now that may feel challenging. Perhaps things that are happening, or a particular block on something that you're wanting to change. So within the soul reading, what I do, the actual practicalities of what I do is I create a safe space, a safe and protected container. And I'm very big on the making sure it's a protective container, and that everything comes through with a loving vibration, and for the highest good of the person that I'm reading for. And within this container, whatever comes through, I may get images, I may get visions. Sometimes these are like still pictures in front of me, almost like looking at a photograph or a painting. Other times it's like a video, literally like a video being run in front of me. I will get feelings. I will experience those feelings. I will experience emotions. And I will hear words. I hear with my ears, in an auditory way, and I also hear through a sense of feeling the words. So what I would call a heart speak, a heart communication, and a mind speak, so telepathic as well. So all of these words will come through, these images, these visions, these emotions, these feelings will come through. And one of my jobs in this soul reading is always to allow whatever comes through to shift into the physical. So our souls are always giving us messages. Our other stories of consciousness are always giving us messages, and trying to help us and support us. But most of us as human beings, we kind of tend to ignore stuff and we look the other way. And until something is literally slapping us in the face, so that we can't ignore it, then, a lot of the time we turn the other way, and we're not able to kind of fully see the wood for the trees, let's say, because we're so focused on living in this, what we call reality. So in the soul reading, I bring everything through to allow it to become physically harnessed. And I do that through the words that I tap into a Word document. So it really is as simple as that. I'm sitting there with my hands poised over the keyboard, and whatever is coming in, I am typing. So sometimes I am typing like a complete mad woman, and sometimes can't go fast enough. I'm not the fastest typer in the West, and so sometimes I actually have to say, can you slow down a little bit, please? I'm struggling to catch up. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's slow, it's methodical, and it's asking lots of questions, and it's drawing whatever needs to be pulled through, whatever your soul is wanting at that time. So it's very different. Every single soul reading out of all of the hundreds of soul readings that I've now done over the last few years, they're all completely different. Yeah, and the energies are very different, and the stories are very different. The interpretations are very, 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 very different, because we're all unique. We're all unique in our stories. So that's what I do. So I sit there and I type, and what I tend to do, or what I always do, what I feel is really important, is it's wonderful to hear the stories of our ancestors. It really is. It's wonderful to hear those stories. And that can be a healing in itself, just hearing those stories. But and of our past lives. But for me, what's really important is that I always ask, how can this help this person right now, in the here and now, in what we call this reality, here and now? How can what's coming through help this person and support this person on their path? That's really important to me to do that. And so there are ways then that will come through. And sometimes that is always not apparent to me during an actual soul reading. And it will be only afterwards, when someone contacts me after a reading and says how much they resonated with it, and they may choose, you don't have to, they may choose to offer me some context of what they're going through in their life right now, and then it's like, that makes sense, but I don't need to know those things. I don't need to know anything about you. I understand that people are going through different experiences. But for me, when I'm in the reading, it's a clear space. It's a clear space, and it's clear of what you may be experiencing, your perception of your experiences in this life. So that's what I do. I type up 2,000 words. Around the 2,000 word mark, that is when I start to feel, okay, this is we need to start bringing this to a close. Is there anyone else that would like to come through? Is there anything else that needs to be shared here? And then I will offer gratitude to all parts of your soul, to all aspects of yourself, and gratitude to any spirit guides that have supported the reading, and offer to my own spirit guides who sometimes support the reading as well. I offer a very protective space. That's really important, and I know that's important for you, to feel that what's coming through is in a protective space, and just all coming through on a loving vibration to support you, to offer you that conversation with your soul. And I get amazing feedback, which is why I carry on doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't carry on doing the soul readings if I didn't feel they worked, if I didn't feel that people were resonating. But I get so much positive feedback. For many people, it's a deeply emotional experience to have this soul reading done. For many people, they will cry, they will burst into tears, they will understand why certain things have come through straight away. Sometimes it can be an unfolding. There is healing embedded in every single word, in every single sentence of the soul reading, in the healing space that I create. and through the positive energies that come through. So, yeah, shine a light on your soul. Give your soul an opportunity to for you to hear the voice, your own voice. It's your voice. It's what's coming through from your ancestors, from your other stories of consciousness. We all have free will. Just before I go, I just want to say we all have free will to accept any advice, any wisdom that comes through or not. And that to me is also really important. A really important aspect of my work is that to make sure, to ensure that people understand that anything that comes through they do not have to take it on board. You know, we have that free will, that choice. We always have that. In terms of a soul reading, in terms of how often someone might want one done, I used to be, when I first started doing this, I used to be not exactly strict, but I kind of was okay, you need to give it at least 3 months or so in between soul readings. Because it can take time for everything to be assimilated, for you to be able to work through whatever is in that reading. Things have sped up, as a lot of us know. We are rapidly moving through different shifts, different energy changes, and so I'm less rigid on that now. I will work with somebody on an ongoing process. And after you've had your reading, if you want to work with me, continue to work with me on a one-to-one basis, either face-to-face or online, then you can do that. And anything that's come through in that soul reading, or things that continue to come through, then we can work on those things. I can be there to offer that support, to work on those things with you. So I think that's everything. Please feel free to ask questions. I'm always open to being contacted, and we'll answer questions as best as I can. And just let me know if you would like a soul reading. I do still offer soul readings face to face now, and if you are in the UK, I'm in St Albans in Hertfordshire. You can feel free to contact me to book for that, or online. Just get in touch. I'm here to help people. We're all here to help each other, and I'm just so grateful to be able to offer my gifts. It feels wonderful to be able to do this, and I'm really grateful. And I'm really grateful for everyone that has allowed me to do this by offering themselves into the space with me, and that we work together in a soul reading. So that's the end of this video. Pop comments, like all the rest of it, get in touch, and I will be making another video very soon. Take care. Bye.